Globalization is the new way of life. It is a word that describes technology and a fast-paced world. It reaches all kinds of people and affects their way of life. Globalization is not a choice. It is the way you must live if you want to be successful and excel in life. That being said, we now wonder why certain cultures from all different regions of the world, and also from this country, don't take advantage of the globalized way of life. Since globalization is said to be the only way to be successful today, then how do countries or cities improve themselves without it? Are they just living at a standstill without improving or losing?
Being that America is the role model in globalization, why do you think that some people live within the country without globalization?
I think it's a combination of two things, that most people that are in those places don't want it, and they also can't afford to bring that technology there.
I think a lot of it has to do with how people were grown up culturally and their different values and whatnot, and how they adjust to globalization within those values. And it's not very easy for somebody in particular that's been learning one aspect their whole life to just go ahead and just integrate into globalization as a whole. And I feel that culturally, I mean, it's just a very difficult thing to do, and people try to turn away from that.
In The Lexus and the Olive Tree, Thomas Friedman shows us how in one society there are globalized and the non-globalized living just miles away from each other, and they are really worlds apart. Thomas Friedman refers to Thailand, explaining that it is a country which is sharply split between an urbanized, export-oriented working and entrepreneurial class, living in the financial and manufacturing centers of the country and enjoying many benefits from globalization, and an impoverished, inward-looking rural sector, which, though indirectly affected by globalization, has little understanding of it and sees little benefit from it.
Do you think that in America, people living within a few miles of each other can be living in completely different stages of globalization?
Yes, I think it's possible for people to live within 5 miles, and some people have computers and other people live on farms. I'm from Pennsylvania, where a lot of Amish people live, and they use no electricity. They plant all their own food, they get all their own food from themselves, and they drive around in horse-drawn buggies and stuff like that. So
Atlanta, because you can get off one exit and it'll be really developed, and then you can get off the next exit and it'll be totally run down and undeveloped.
In the book, The Lexus and the Olive Tree, Thomas Friedman explains what he calls the marks of globalization. He states that the first mark contains having a dominant culture, defining technologies, and defining measurements. In order to have a dominant culture, leading technologies, and high-speed innovations, your country needs to put on the golden straitjacket and be ready to move faster and reach deeper every changing minute.
Redefine high definition. Create blacker blacks for brighter colors. Using greener methods. We're revolutionizing how you watch, listen, and live. At Vizio, we find a better way, and we make it for everyone.
One of the marks Friedman talks about is creative destruction, which is something people see every day, they just don't realize it. It is the act of destroying a product or service that is old and less efficient and replacing it with a new one that is more efficient. A good example would be the cell phone industry, where this happens every day. New companies are coming out with wild phones, and they claim they're the fastest of all in the 3G network. Yet once you get that phone, you use the browser on it and see an advertisement that says another phone company has better qualities. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with creative destruction.
In one word, what is the first thing that comes to mind when hearing creative destruction?
Green technology. Cars.
Information systems.
Cell phones.
Camera. The internet.
Airplane.
Computers.
You've been hit by a smooth.
Cities that fail to put on the golden straitjacket are isolating their countries from technological advancements. These cities have become havens for terrorists and drug dealers and are incubators of disease. These cities have incomplete control over their nation's terrorists without the ability to provide basic services. Widespread corruption and criminal violence result.
What is the effect that cities should expect to deal with if they don't put on the golden straitjacket?
I think the people in the towns that don't have on the golden straitjacket can be just as smart, but they just won't be as connected globally.
Less money, a higher rate of unemployment, and a higher crime rate.
Less production, less informed, and essentially higher crime rates.